Hello there, peeps. It looks like it's really dark here in Denmark right now. It's not. It's just because of my apartment's lighting situation. I could probably make it a bit more brighter by turning on all the lights. But I was watching a video. What was this video about? Someone unboxing a 19-year-old iPod. Makes me feel really old. But then I had this kind of thing, or this idea that I wish that Linux YouTubers actually wanted to talk to me. Because I would love to have a Linux YouTuber trying to sell me Linux. And me being, taking my want Linux, because I want Linux. I use Linux almost every day. I also use it at work. But the idea I have is that I want, and I still want this, I want a Linux YouTuber to try and tell my fiction company why we should use Linux. And then I will use a combination of all the companies I have worked for, situation, to explain why that could be done or why it couldn't be done. It's a little bit hard to do on your own, but I do know a lot of the talking points that a lot of people will say why a company or an individual should use Linux. But now let's talk about a company here, and let's make this little thought experiment, this little fun exercise, call it what you will. I'm on the both sides, so you know I know what I'm going to say. It's just a little bit of a fun idea I have here, but hey, if someone... It has to be a YouTuber, because any fucking random Joe in the comment section, I don't want to talk to you. You have no skin in the game. I want someone's reputation and skin being on the line. Because you can just spew out bullshit from the comment section and leave and walk away as an anonymous fucking douchebag. But I'm having a fictitious company, we can call it whatever the fuck you can figure out in your mind. That's called a Brain Dead Incorporated or something like that. And then you are coming in and you want to sell me Linux. You see, like, you should move to Linux. I'm like, okay, fine. Before I continue this, give me a like, subscribe, comment, go on to my Discord, suggest video subjects I can make videos about. Anyway, you should move to Linux. I'm like, cool. Why should I do that? Why should Brain Dead Incorporated, I think was the name we came up with, why should Brain Dead Incorporated move to Linux? Why should we move to this thing? Why should we change everything we do in a company for an OS? And one of the biggest one is you can save a lot of money. You have my, saving money will get people's attention, like, you have my attention. Where can I save money? Okay, but what is one of the big one here is that you don't have to pay for Windows. And I'm talking from experience here. Well, I don't pay for Windows. Oh, you do every time you buy a computer. Yeah, but I don't buy new computers. Okay, what do you mean by that? Well, I buy second-hand computers. I don't need new computers. If I buy new computers, I have an IT department that can then install the company's version of Windows that we have without all of the shit we don't need. You tell me that I don't have to pay for Windows. I'm not. This is situations that I'm in actually right now. We have... The company I work for now have not paid for a Windows license. Ever. Because they buy second-hand computers with Windows already installed on it. Those computers have already paid a Windows license on it. The original owners paid for that Windows license. We just inherit that Windows license. I then put our version of Windows on it that is deep-loaded and all that fucking shit and only have the things that we need on it, and etc, etc, etc. I'm not paying for Windows. So I'm not saving money. the second-hand computers and laptops that my company, Brain Dead Incorporated, is going to buy is costing the same with or without Windows. It's just don't matter. And this is the case for a lot of people buying new computers also, by the way. The license don't matter. They don't care about that extra 5%. Or the computers cost the same even with or without Windows on it. Because it's a corporate customer. Then you're like, well, you can save a lot of money on a lot of software. Okay, that's an interesting one. So let's say I move over to Linux. We are having a lot of employees that are managed through Microsoft Entra. Can we manage their accounts and have access to Microsoft Office locally and in the cloud, which they have like thousands of documents in and many people are using daily all the time? Will that just automatically work on Linux? You guessed no. Okay, so we now have to rework our whole Office working ecosystem because you want me to use Linux. That's what you're telling me, because I can save money on the license. How much money is it going to cost me to refactor my whole Office workflow? How many people do I need to send on training, mean that they can make the company money for like a week or 2 weeks? How much time does it take to make the new form or make the old documents into a new format that's compatible with the new software, etc., etc., etc.? Am I really saving money? Like, oh, no, don't you're saving money on the other side. Okay, so we are heavily depending on Exchange, which a lot of companies are. How is that going to work? Is there a Microsoft Outlook application for Windows then? Oh, I need to now use a separate mail client and then attaching that with Exchange, basically doing extra work, and hope it works as well as Microsoft Outlook. Does that also now integrate all our what is it called, like calendars and all that fucking shit, so we can, I can schedule a meeting with you and you can schedule a meeting with me and stuff like that via the mail client / Teams? Does Teams work, or do I need to use the web client for Teams? Do we need to find another software? So, okay, you want me to change our whole Office workflow when it comes to documentation, etc., etc. You also want us to change the whole administration workflow when it comes to software we use for administration and communications and stuff like that. That is going to take a lot of time, cost a lot of money. And then you will say, oh, but there's other software. Okay, so we have software we have built in-house to work for Windows that has been built for 4 years, and some of the companies I work for have in-house software they've built over decades that is just not compatible with Linux the way it is right now. So you want us to then spend a lot of money refactor that software to work under Linux because we can save money? So I need to go to my developers and say, you guys need to stop everything you're doing right now because we need to rewrite our whole in-house software suite to support Linux. And running it under Wine and stuff like that is just a headache. Trust me, it's a headache. You want to have native support if you're doing that. You don't base a company of running, their whole internal software in a fucking wine bottle or something like that. That's just like, no. And you don't tell them to run a fucking virtual machine on their computers and stuff like that. No. It has to run natively on their computer. So I don't care about the license. All the administrative software that we use that is paid for is so ingrained into the company that we basically have to start all over with all of the habits we build up as a company. On top of that, you want Braindead Incorporation to stop developing new features and bug fixes and stuff like that on existing software, so we can refactor our existing software that has been developed for a minimum of 4 to 10 years, so it works on the Linux. How long is that going to take? Like, how long is the software development team going to work on refactoring not old, but existing software? Depending on how much that is, let's take a real life example. If you told me and the people in where I work that we had to refactor all of our existing software to run under Linux, it would probably take maybe 2 years. If we are lucky, 2 years. That half the time that it took to actually develop all of those tools, by the way. Because you can use some of the code and you're already, you're not making the same mistakes. You learn from your past mistakes and so on. So let me be really optimistic and say it will probably take half the time that it originally took to make those tools. And then we are 2 years behind on bug fixes, feature add-ons, and etc., etc., etc. Already there, the money-saving argument, I'm like, yeah, I'm not really saving money, I'm spending a lot of money, but in the long run, yeah, but I can't, like, my company cannot stand still for 2 years not making money. Like, we don't have that same, like, most companies cannot stop what they are doing for 2 or 1 year and only making 50% of the money that they are making now, or less, because they are refactoring the whole fucking work existings over to another platform. That's why it's super important that what you choose when you start a company, that's what you stick with. A lot of people, they tend to forget this. It like when you start a company and it's expanding, if you buy into the Windows ecosystem, the Mac ecosystem, the Windows Linux ecosystem, or the Haiku ecosystem, whatever the fuck it is, that's what you're stuck with. Because the longer you keep using that, it's going to cost more and more money and take more and more time to get out of that again. So, like, if you want to start a company, pick your ecosystems really fucking, like, diligent. Like, be really, really anal about what you pick from the get-go. So there's no real, like, for most people, they actually have to spend a lot of money to do it. Like, it's actually costing them money. More money than it will cost them, at least in the intermediate time, more money than it will cost them to just continue using the services that they're using right now. So you will say, forget about the money, I kind of get that, but you can see and add to the source code, dude. You know? And you can help out the community. Oh, so you want the software that we have developed for 4 years that nobody else is doing in the industry. We are the only one having that type of software, and people are so jealous, and they want us to make it for them and pay and all that fucking shit. You want to give that away for free to them. You want us to have that right now have a really good market standing to just give that away so they can basically take what gives us a competitive advantages and run away with it. That's what you're telling me, because if everyone can see the source code, everyone can copy our work. And then we are not as valuable as a company anymore as we was before, because part of that value is the tools that we made to doing this job that we are doing. BrainDead Incorporated, part of the value of the company is the software tooling that we have made that other people want, and the hardware toolings that we have made that other people are interested in. That's part of the value. And before you guys say, oh, we're not advocating for that, the video I made about Valve, you guys were telling me exact this here, that it's okay Valve is proprietary with their software because it will give companies, take away Valve's competitive advantage. So you guys have told me that it's okay to have closed source code when it gives a company competitive advantage. You told me that in the comment section of that video. Go read them. You made many Linux advocated for proprietary software in that video. Anyway, and you'll be like, no, okay, I kind of get it, but other people can help out. I don't want other people to help out. I don't want other people to fuck up my software. I can do that on my own. So now you want me to open source something that can give away a competitive advantage. I also now have to hire a guy or take away someone, a developer in my team, that has to deal with vetting, validating the source code everyone wants to push back into my branch. I can't just accept everything willy-nilly because someone will put like flying unicorns and dildos into it for fun. We now have to take time and put extra effort into making sure that all the submits, etc., is actually valid. This is an aspect people tend to forget about open source, is that because everyone can submit and stuff like that, you kind of, if you want to accept submits, of course, you don't have to do that, but if you want to do that, you now have to have someone that, you need to have a validation process. You can't just, just accept everything. Because someone will make fucking bad code, but they think it's amazing. But it's not. So it's really not giving us a benefit here, dude. It's really not giving us a benefit. I get that, yeah, people can help out. But if I want people to help out, we hire an intern. If we need more people to work on something, we do that right now. Or we hire a student. We have a student right now that is making his own his own program for the company that we need. Someone is helping out because they can see the source code kind of thing. And we are helping someone by paying them money so they can get extra money, so they can actually fucking live while they are studying. So we are supporting a student. He gets experience, working experience, coding experience, and he gets some money so he can go, blow it on hookers and booze and coke or whatever he wants, If we open sourced it, why the fuck should we pay someone for it if like what you all are saying that the community is going to help out? Why should we then pay someone to do it when you guys are doing it for free? This is also a thing people tend to forget. The whole economical aspect of proprietary code and the way company works. If we did a lot of the things like this sharing kind of thing, a lot of people lose their job. And then you will see a lot of developers being bitchy and moaning about they can't find a job. Well, that's because if we can get someone to do it for free, why the fuck should we pay you to do it? And that's what all of you guys are telling me is that, well, if I open source my in-house projects, the community will help out. Then why the fuck should I pay for developers then? Or at least, why should I pay for that many developers? I could just help my development team then. Because you are telling me that the community will help out. That's what you're promising me. You are telling me that if I open source my projects as a company, Braindead Incorporated, the community will help out. That's what you are telling me. That's what people told me for close to 30 years now. That if you open source your source code, they will. Not they do, maybe, or they can. No, the community will help out. Remember what I say with will. Because that's what I've been told. That's what people tell me in my comment section. Go read my comment section. Open source is great because the community will help out. So you're promising me that I don't need that many developers because they will help out. You can't promise me that. Any normal, sane business person will say you cannot promise me that. You cannot promise me that people are going to work for free for anything. It can be an added benefit, but you're not going to promise me that. So I have to keep my development staff. Then I have to spend extra time validating, submits and dealing with the whole extra workload that comes with having open source. Forks, submits, questions, and all those kind of things. For people, and on top of that, taking away a big part that makes us stand really strong in the market that we're in. So you basically weaken our companies by doing that. And I have to hire or spend more time on doing things that is not related to the company or that is not going to make the company money because I'm open sourcing it. Spend extra time on doing extra edits and snippets that open source companies needs. Then you will say it's more secure. Oh, so you say that the programs that I'm paying license for, the solutions I'm paying a lot of money for licensing for is insecure? Any of the solutions that I am using, any of the software that I'm using from third-party vendors, if they have a security issue, I'm going to sue their fucking ass. If because of their negligent or they're incompetent is the reason why I'm losing money or getting bogged down or getting DDoS attacked or getting viruses or getting my data stolen, I'm going to sue them for fucking money. A lot of more money than it would cost me that I could save if I was not using whatever solution I'm using because they're more secure. This is what companies do. They pay their way for that security because they don't want to deal with it. Because if I'm using Linux, then security is kind of in my ball. Or I have to go with a vendor like Red Hat, Canonical, that is only on average between 5 and 10% more inexpensive than Microsoft, because you have to pay them a service agreement fee so they can help you with the security. And then you have your bill on top of that, but 99% of all the in-house solution software that we're using to run our company don't work. And all of our in-house built solutions don't work. Or software, sorry, don't work. So we now have to redo that, basically redo the whole company workflow. And we're only saving about 5% from not having other companies, proprietary companies, to give us support if things go tits up with security, or we have to deal with security ourselves. So now I have to hire security experts. I have to hire more people. So those 5% that I'm saving, I'm giving away to a security team now. So it don't really matter, because if my company becomes less secure because Microsoft fucks up or Oracle fucks up or whoever fucks up, I can fucking sue them. And it even says in their fucking agreement that if they are the reason for your security not being up to date and in risk, they will pay you. So yeah, we may be more secure in our facilities, but we are just as secure on Windows, because local security is not so much about the source code. Local security is about, proper handling of your hardware, your physical computers, and how you do local security is about proper password hygienes, proper etiquettes when it comes to logging in and out on services and stuff like that. It's more private, and this is the same argument as security. Okay, if I figure out that Microsoft, Google, whoever the fuck I'm using, or other companies are taking and selling my corporate data, I'm going to sue their fucking ass because that's illegal in Europe. You can't do that. Unless we give you specific, like we allow you to do so. And here's another thing. Everyone is using AI today. You are putting when you're using AI, if you're using company data with an AI, you are giving that AI company data. Do you trust the AI companies with company data? If you're taking, let's just say, can you resum this financial document from our earning last year and give that to an AI? They have all that data in their servers. Do you trust them? I don't. We had a lot of talks lately about what people are using AI for or not. Because here's the thing, you may be saying, okay, I'm fine with people having my company's data, but again, said financial report from Brain Incorporated or BrainDead Incorporated. There is more than likely data from customers we dealt with, people we have sold services to. Their addresses, emails, maybe even their fucking bank statements are in there, their invoices are in there, etc., etc. So not only are we giving away our fucking company data, we're also giving away parts or a lot of other people's company's data that they have not validated or said we can do just by asking them to sum up or asking an AI to sum up a financial report from last year. You should probably think more about privacy when it comes to AI and online services more than you should think about your privacy on your local computer at work. Again, privacy at your local computer at work will only really matter if someone steals your shit. And I know that you'll say, but what about telemetry in Windows and blah, blah, blah. Telemetry in Windows don't take personal private company data or your own personal private data. It don't. Again, there's laws against that. It takes generalized data. It takes the same generalized data that YouTube is taking right now while you're watching this video. And here's another thing. A lot of people like me, we take that shit away from Windows or disable that shit from Windows when we install Windows. I have a custom ISO where telemetry is disabled. A lot of it is disabled, not all of it. I allow it to take like computer data telemetry, like how many cores and RAM and uptime and downtime. But anything else is like, facial recognition, because a lot of people using Windows Hello on their laptops, not being shared. Handwriting recognition, not being shared. The only thing that I allow Windows to share with the world is the hardware specs. Because I feel that will help out a lot. So if there is a driver crash, if there's a hardware issue, Windows can benefit from that. That's the only telemetry that is being shared. Again, I'm talking about experiences with all of the companies I've worked for and all of the companies my friends have worked for, my colleagues have worked for, people I've talked to have worked for. Switching to Linux for a company is not just as like it is at home, where you just delete your hard drive and then install one distribution today and next month because, oh my god, this girl looks a little bit hotter, so I'm reinstalling another Linux distribution. I feel like Linux users is a lot like people that can't find a girlfriend because they don't want to settle, because the grass is always green on the other side. They always try to chase the perfect distribution, like some people's trying to chase the perfect partner. A little side note here. But it's like when it comes to companies, I'm not saying it's not doable, but it's super difficult to change ecosystem. It's super expensive and difficult. I'm not talking about that switching to Linux may require to buy new hardware. I'm not talking about that switching to Linux may require the company to buy new peripherals. I've not even talked about that. There is a reason why companies are slow to adopt new technology. It's because what they have, if it's working, they know it's working. Companies don't fuck with things that works, okay? Because if you fuck with that thing, there is a super high chance it stop working and we are losing money. Just do it. It's not just do it, because just the things that we have talked about here is just scratching the surface, people. Like I said, I would love to have someone that actually sit, because I forgot a lot of fucking things. I just highlighted some stuff here, and even when I was reading it out and read some others, like, I forgot to talk about this fucking thing, but I was thinking about why I was typing this down. So I would love to have someone else debate me on this aspect, where I would be the fictitious or the fake business owner, and they will try to sell Linux to me. Because it's super complicated. It's not just like saying, the license is cheaper. Oh, you can get, you don't need Photoshop, you have GIMP. It's not that simple, people. It is for consumers. Way more simple for consumers. Because here's the thing, if it was that easy and that much beneficial for people to move to Linux in the corporate world, every fucking company on earth would be using Linux. If you can save a company 10% a year, your job situation will be secured almost forever. Like, it's really rare you get someone that can save the company 5-10%. Like, the people that do that, they get massive bonuses, okay? So if it was that easy to save a company 5 and 10% on spending, every company would be doing it. Because companies are not loyal to Microsoft or Mac OS. Companies are loyal to what makes them money. And if Linux could make them more money, everyone would be using Linux. And in the situation where Linux can make companies more money, they are the ones moving to Linux. Think about this. See you all later. Bye.